I've never seen like one person just constantly in the news.
We say it is. If he's guilty, he needs to stand accountable.
Voters sounding off today as opening statements and testimony got underway in the first ever criminal trial of a former president. I'm Gadi Schwartz, and this is Stay Tuned Now. Former President Donald Trump's historic New York hush money trial is steaming right on ahead, with both sides delivering opening statements today. Prosecutors calling the case a criminal conspiracy in which Trump with the help of his former lawyer Michael Cohen tried to cover up his affair with porn star Stormy Daniels right before the 2016 election, and in the process saying he lied in his business records over and over again. But Trump's team is denying any crime, saying it's a politically motivated case and painting Trump not just as a former president and businessman, but as a man, a husband, and a father. And then we saw the first witness take the stand. This guy, former National Enquirer publisher David Pecker. Prosecutors describing Pecker as a central player in Trump's alleged catch-and-kill scheme, which involved allegations of intercepting stories and claims from women who said they had affairs with Trump and then paying them to stay quiet. And he did so with the help of Michael Cohen, again, Trump's former lawyer, who, by the way, already went to prison in part because of some of this stuff and has been blasting his old boss ever since. Meanwhile, Trump, as always, spoke to cameras on his way in and out today, at one point attacking Cohen, something he was supposed to be barred from doing by the judge's gag order.
Cohen is a lawyer, represented a lot of people over the years. Now, I'm not the only one. And wasn't very good in a lot of ways in terms of his representation. But he represented a lot of people. But he puts in an invoice or whatever, a bill, and they pay and they go at a legal expense. I got indicted for that.
NBC's Laura Jarrett has more on how today went down.
Tonight, prosecutors painting a stark portrait of former President Trump in their opening statements during his hush money trial, a case Mr. Trump has argued is designed to derail his campaign.
This is done as election interference. Everybody knows it.
But today, prosecutors said it is Mr. Trump who is guilty of election interference by paying off an adult film star to silence her before the 2016 election, telling the jury this case is about a criminal conspiracy to bury a story that could have cost him the presidency, and then lying in his business records over and over again to cover it all up. The alleged scheme stretches back to 2015, a meeting at Trump Tower between Mr. Trump, his former fixer and attorney Michael Cohen, and David Pecker, the longtime publisher of the National Enquirer. This is where prosecutors say the trio hatched a plot for the tabloid to buy and bury any damning stories about Mr. Trump, a tactic known as catch and kill. Prosecutors say it was the release of the Access Hollywood tape that turned the campaign upside down in October of 2016. Lead prosecutor Matthew Coangelo reading Mr. Trump's most incendiary remarks from that video for the jury today, arguing the former president was so desperate to contain the damage with female voters, he directed Cohen to pay off Stormy Daniels so she couldn't go public about an alleged sexual encounter, which Mr. Trump denies. But it is not the hush money itself that he's charged with in this trial. It's how then-President Trump documented his monthly reimbursement payments to Cohen on internal company records as legal expenses. Prosecutors telling the jury of 7 men and 5 women today it was election fraud, pure and simple. But Mr. Trump is not facing conspiracy or campaign finance violations, something the defense sought to highlight today. In opening statements, Mr. Trump's attorney describing him as a husband and a father, a person just like you and me, and is innocent, saying the payments to Cohen were for legal expenses, arguing there is nothing wrong with trying to influence an election. It's called democracy, not a crime. The alleged crime he is facing, a low-level felony, carrying up to 4 years in prison if convicted, but the judge could sentence him to probation. Mr. Trump today noting the previous DA and federal prosecutors looked at this case and did not charge him.
You got indicted for that? People in the court just said to me, I can't believe it. This is the case. So we did nothing wrong.
Mr. Trump's attorney casting Cohen as the prosecution's only real witness, out for revenge, saying he's, quote, obsessed with Mr. Trump and wants to see him in an orange jumpsuit because Cohen's entire financial livelihood depends on Trump's destruction. Cohen has pleaded guilty to campaign finance violations and lying under oath. The prosecutors preemptively defending him today, saying he made mistakes in the past to protect his boss.
Let's bring in NBC's Dasha Burns. Dasha, so let's pick up where Laura left off there. First off, Pecker started testifying. Things were getting super interesting, and then everyone stopped early and went home. Like, what the heck?
Actually, a pretty simple explanation here, Gadi. One of the jurors had a dental emergency. They had to make a dentist appointment, and so the judge said, we're stopping early today. This just a reminder that these 12 jurors and 6 alternates, they really are your average New Yorkers, people who have dentist appointments and medical issues and all kinds of things that might get in the way here.
Sitting in a courthouse with a toothache, I can't imagine something worse. Who is David Pecker, and exactly what is his role here specifically?
So David Pecker is so important to this story because he was the guy in the room, Gadi. Back in 2015, there was a meeting between David Pecker, Michael Cohen, and former President Trump where the prosecution alleges they concocted this catch-and-kill scheme that then went on to basically start the narrative. That was the beginning of this whole story that led us here. Pecker was the publisher of the National Enquirer at the time. The prosecution says that they all coordinated to get stories that were positive about former President Trump published, stories that were negative about his opponents published, and tried to squash any potential stories that could be harmful to the former president, like that of Stormy Daniels.
Yeah, speaking of that room, Michael Cohen, is he going to be taking the stand here?
Oh, yeah.
Is he credible after everything that we've been through? What's that going to look like?
Well, he's definitely taking the stand. He's a star witness for the prosecution, but that credibility question is critical. We already saw a preview from the defense today. The opening statements from the defense, they aimed a lot of their fire at Michael Cohen, saying he's not a credible witness. He's out to get Donald Trump. This is a vendetta adventure for him, and none of what he says is believable. He's already been caught lying. He's been indicted. He's gone to jail. Meanwhile, the prosecution said to jurors, look, we're going to be transparent about this. Yeah, this guy has a criminal record. He has lied, but so much of what he's going to say, we also have corroborating documents and other evidence that will back up what he's talking about, even if you don't find him credible. It's all, a lot of this is going to come down to whether or not the jury believes that and whether or not those other pieces of evidence are convincing as well.
Meanwhile, the court of public opinion, I mean, how's the whole gag order thing going with Trump basically holding court at court after every single day of this trial so far?
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, Gadi, Trump has sometimes prioritized the court of public opinion over what's actually happening inside criminal court. And so he has been talking pretty openly. He hasn't had a huge filter, as we know the former president rarely does. And that does pose a problem for his lawyers. We're going to hear arguments over this gag order issue, whether or not he violated it tomorrow. The prosecution alleges he violated it more than 7 times. Remember, he can criticize the judge. He can criticize DA Bragg. He just can't criticize witnesses or members of the jury or put them in any sort of uncomfortable position. And they're going to be debating whether or not he did that tomorrow, Gadi.
Dasha, thanks so much. And over the weekend, at least 22 people were killed in Israeli airstrikes in the Gaza city of Rafah. 18 of them were children, according to health officials there. NBC News' Raf Sanchez is reporting on that a little later this hour. Meanwhile, here in the United States, protests are starting to reach a fever pitch at universities across the country, with thousands calling for an end to the fighting.
People in Gaza do not have campuses anymore. And so we really feel that it's important to continue being out here, to continue calling attention to what's happening in Gaza.
Those pro-Palestinian protests at major universities all across the United States today. Columbia, Yale, NYU, UNC, Michigan, and that's just naming a few. At Yale, almost 50 students were arrested. The NYPD also arresting over 100 at demonstrations centering around Columbia. That school has become a flashpoint, even switching some classes to remote learning because of all the protests. And today, the owner of the New England Patriots, Robert Kraft, threatening to stop donating to the university, claiming it is no longer a safe place for Jewish students, all while protesters are calling for universities to stop investing in companies that profit from the Israel-Gaza war. NBC News correspondent Aaron McLaughlin has more.
Tonight, tension across major American college campuses.
If you do not leave, you will be arrested.
Students setting up encampments from University of North Carolina to MIT. Harvard's yard closed until Friday.
We shall not be moved.
All of it as fury over the Israel-Hamas war boils over, with students expressing fear for their personal safety and concern for anti-Semitic hate speech, raising new questions about the line between hate speech and the First Amendment.
We're asking for the school to call for a ceasefire in Gaza.
This morning, police say at least 45 pro-Palestinian protesters were arrested at Yale University for violating Yale's policies and instructions. Police say they were later released. In a statement, the university adding that Yale does not tolerate behavior that threatened, harassed, or intimidated others. Meanwhile, at Columbia, today's classes were online only, with the university's president calling for a reset to de-escalate the rancor, while also adding more than 100 safety personnel to campus after more than 100 protesters were arrested last week. But with videos like this emerging online, and another showing a young woman holding a sign pointing in the direction of Jewish students saying Al-Qassam's next targets, Hamas's military wing. Students Andrew Stein and Alicia Baker say they don't feel safe.
It was the most terrified I'd probably been in my entire life.
On Saturday night, Stein says he was on campus for a pro-Israel counter-protest when this happened. You see him in the white sweatshirt filming as a group of pro-Palestinian protesters yell expletives against Israel.
They started saying in Arabic, Hamas, Hamas, our beloved, please bomb Tel Aviv. And then they started saying, we're coming for you. No Zionists on this campus, like get off campus.
Stein alleges the situation escalated.
Me and my friend had water poured, like physically poured in our face. My friend was actually abused in the middle of campus.
On campus Monday, faculty from Barnard and Columbia came out in support of the pro-Palestinian students who were arrested and suspended last week.
We are calling for divestment. We're calling for a ceasefire.
Students inside the encampment told NBC News they were unaware of any physical or verbal threats towards students on Saturday night.
Anyone who makes any threat to any Jewish student, we oppose you. We do not associate with you.
Meanwhile, at Rutgers University, police announcing a man has been charged with a federal hate crime for breaking into the university's Center for Islamic Life and destroying property earlier this month. Tonight on college campuses across the country, students saying they don't feel safe.
And Gadi, tonight, the White House once again weighing in. President Biden saying he condemns the anti-Semitic protests, but that he also condemns those who, quote, don't understand what's going on with the Palestinians. Gadi.
Aaron, thank you. And on Capitol Hill, the clock is ticking on TikTok's future in the United States now that a bill which could ban the app is headed to the Senate. It comes after the House passed a foreign aid bill over the weekend that included a measure for TikTok's Chinese parent company ByteDance to sell the platform or face being banned. And there's growing support in the Senate for this potential ban, and it appears more likely than ever to become law. But if you are a heavy TikTok user, no need to panic just yet. This does not mean you're going to see the app just magically disappear mid-scroll there. NBC News Now anchor Savannah Sellers has more.
Tonight, TikTok the closest it's been to a national ban becoming a reality. The Senate expected to vote as soon as tomorrow on the bill the House passed over the weekend.
The bill is passed without objection.
It appears likely to pass in the Senate, too, and President Biden has said he will sign the bill, which would require TikTok's Chinese parent company ByteDance to sell its stake in the platform within a year or face a national ban. An earlier bill would have required a sale within 6 months.
TikTok is really built as a massive data collection machine.
Congress looking to address national security concerns, with worries China could access the sensitive data of the app's 170 million American users. According to the app's privacy policy, they automatically collect geolocation-related data and browsing history.
The problem is that when ByteDance decides to create a wall to block U.S. data from leaving the United States, it's like asking the wolf to build a safer henhouse.
TikTok has denied sharing data with the Chinese government. In a statement, TikTok said the bill would trample the free speech rights of 170 million Americans and devastate 7 million small businesses, vowing in an internal memo obtained by NBC News to fight the legislation in court if passed, encouraging employees to stay composed and its users to fight hard against a possible ban. Deborah Mayer relies on TikTok for her business selling handbags. She says it's added upwards of 6 figures in sales.
The numbers just keep growing month over month.
What percentage of your sales would you lose if TikTok were to be banned in the U.S.?
Overnight, probably about 60%.
One of millions of users who will be watching this week's vote very carefully. Savannah Sellers, NBC News.
Savannah, thank you. And don't go anywhere. We are just getting started. Up next, the Supreme Court has taken on whether cities can punish the homeless for sleeping outside. Does this fall under cruel and unusual punishment? Well, Liz Schwartz is going to be here to explain. Plus, is there such a thing as bad botox? Yeah, there most definitely is. And we're going to tell you how to spot the difference between the real thing and what is being called botox. And later this hour, we are talking about the future of education. Get ready to check out what's got to be the most high-tech public boarding high school in the country. And you've got a seat at the head of the class. So stay tuned. I see high school in the future. Hey, welcome back. The Supreme Court has taken on homelessness. More on that in just a minute. But first, here are some stories happening out west that we're following right now. A woman getting off a metro train here in Studio City was stabbed in the throat and killed. But so far, police are not saying who her attacker was or why she was targeted. But cops are saying they were able to catch the suspect within 30 minutes of the attack. And staying in L.A., a close call for Mayor Karen Bass over the weekend when an intruder smashed into her home through a glass window, made it to the second floor where the mayor had to take cover in a panic room. Luckily, Bass and her family are okay. Police arrested the man, and it turns out he was previously convicted of assault in another state. And it is finally official. The high-speed rail system that'll connect Las Vegas and Southern California has finally broken ground. But apparently, we're going to have to wait a few more years until it's up and running. Officials are hoping it'll launch in time for the 2028 Summer Olympics in L.A. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has started to hear a case that could change whether police can keep homeless people from sleeping on sidewalks or public places, even if they have nowhere else to go. And this centers around a city in Oregon that bans people from sleeping or camping on public property like sidewalks, streets, bridges, parks. And if someone is caught doing that, they could be fined up to $1,200 and even a month in jail for repeated offenses, while Homeless Group has argued this is criminalizing poverty and is the kind of cruel and unusual punishment that is supposed to be prevented by the 8th Amendment. All of this very high stakes, given that more than 650,000 people are believed to be experiencing homelessness on any given night. And when you take a look at the states with the biggest problems, most of them are here in the West: California, Oregon, Hawaii, Arizona, Nevada. NBC News correspondent Liz Schwartz joins us now. So, Liz, what happens if the Supreme Court finds that cities can punish people for sleeping basically in public at night?
Yeah, it's a complicated question, and the answer really depends on who you ask. But the concern from homeless advocates is that if the Supreme Court rules on the side of the city of Grants Pass and says that their ordinance that bans people from sleeping in any public space at any time of day, if that is upheld, that then cities nationwide will be able to enact laws that are that strict, that basically say you can be fined and ticketed for sleeping in a public park, even if there's no alternative or nowhere else for you to go. And homeless advocates say that it's not going to solve the problem, that essentially is just pushing people out, pushing people from park to park, and not actually getting it to the root of the issue, which is housing and a lack of housing. I talked to one woman when I was in Grants Pass last month to do some reporting on this, who said when she was homeless for 5 years, she racked up thousands of dollars in fines. She's still in debt, even though she's not homeless because of those fines. That said, Gadi, The other side of this is saying that we as cities need to be able to have some authority to clean up our parks, that these are public spaces, that it's dangerous to have people living in these parks, some drug use or whatever's happening there, and that they need to be able to have the ability to clean these parks up.
Liz, what was the vibe when it comes to questions that we heard from some of the justices?
It was very much split, it seemed like, according to our producer, Daniel, who was really following this closely and there today, split on ideological lines, so kind of how you'd expect with sort of a conservative-leaning court. Some of the more conservative judges seem to be maybe questioning the homeless advocates, trying to understand whether or not this is even something the court should be ruling on. And I think that's where the interesting political twist comes in right now, because you actually have some Democratic lawmakers like Governor Gavin Newsom here in California. You would think, oh, he would be on the more, quote, liberal side of this issue. He's actually siding with the city of Grants Pass because he wants the city to have the state to have more authority to clean up the homeless encampments. But take a listen to what Justice Sotomayor had to say in an exchange today with Justice Roberts as well. Take a listen.
Where do we put them if every city, every village, every town lacks compassion and passes a law identical to this? Where are they supposed to sleep? Are they supposed to kill themselves not sleeping?
It's a policy problem because the solution, of course, is to build shelter, to provide shelter for those who are otherwise harmless. But municipalities have competing priorities.
So you can see the ideological lines there, the questions from the justices, and the decision we're expecting potentially late June, early July, and we'll see what happens. It will have major implications potentially for cities like we're in here in LA, San Francisco.
Absolutely. So much nuance to your reporting. Liz, thanks so much for joining us. And turning now to something new that I learned today. There's Botox, and apparently there's something called Botox, and that fake kind of Botox is becoming more and more common and bringing with it all kinds of problems, trouble breathing, blurry vision, slurred speech. So how does someone tell the difference between Botox and Photox? Well, of course, we check with our NBC News medical fellow, Dr. Akshay Sayal. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us. Photox, what is the difference between real Botox and the fake stuff?
Yeah, it can be quite scary, Gadi. So essentially what's happened in the past couple weeks or so is that we're learning that people who have been getting Botox from really what we think are med spas, Gadi, really like unauthorized places are getting really scary symptoms. They're getting things like double vision and droopy eyelids and trouble breathing. So we actually have a list here for people out there who are concerned, should I still be getting my Botox? The answer is yes. If you are getting it from a licensed professional, it is still safe to get your Botox. But if you are worried, or if you do want to double check what you're getting, we do have a list here that we can show you, and really it comes down to sort of just checking the label. Some things you want to look for, first of all, make sure the label is in English. Secondly, you can look out for a lot or vial number here, C3709C3. Make sure that the ingredient is saying botulinum toxin type A, and make sure that it doesn't indicate a 150 unit dose, because the company that makes the FDA-approved Botox, Gadi, doesn't even make that dose. The FDA thinks that using these things here, you should be in good shape, and always make sure that the person is licensed.
And I'm not an expert on this, but Botox is like a face muscle paralyzer, right? What happens after you get Botox versus what happens after you get Photox?
Yeah, so normal reactions from Botox can be things like, injection site reactions, like you could have a little pain or bruising at the site. But Gadi, these Photox are, because it's, we think that it is Botox in different dose amounts, for example, can cause things like blurred vision, droopy eyelids, you can be tired. Some people have ended up in the ICU, actually, for difficulty breathing and also constipation and dry mouth. But to answer your question, Gadi, this Botox works by essentially blocking nerve signals. And if you give Botox in the wrong dose, you worry about nerve signals and muscles being blocked that shouldn't be blocked, leading to that host of side effects you can see on your screen there.
And Doc, I got to admit, I was trying to read up on this before you came on, but then I got totally rabbit-holed into Botox and Photox in the armpits. Why?
I had a friend who used to do this, Gadi, actually. There's a condition called hyperhidrosis, which means you sweat too much, and it can be embarrassing. So people actually use Botox in the armpits for that reason. It can block the nerve signals that lead you to stop sweating. Some people with migraines even can use this, Gadi, to block the signals that, sort of block the neurotransmitters for headaches. So it's not just people using it for facial wrinkles or forehead wrinkles. There are other use cases for this, all of which should be using those tips that we gave to make sure they're getting the real stuff and not the Photox.
The more you know. Dr. Akshay Sayal, thanks so much.
Anytime.
Meanwhile, at the southern border, officials are facing a new challenge, a surge in Chinese migrants, and this comes on top of the record-breaking numbers we've already reported on from other countries. Here's NBC's David Noriega.
Tonight, among the unprecedented number of migrants illegally crossing into the U.S. from Mexico, a dramatic surge in people from China. We're on the border east of San Diego. This is a group that crossed a few minutes ago. Border Patrol just directed them to the open-air detention site. They tell us they're fleeing poverty and political repression, including the aftermath of COVID. Why did you leave China?
Freedom.
Was there something specific that happened?
Yes. COVID-19. My work is gone.
What did you used to do?
Engineer. Electronic engineer.
3 years ago, 689 Chinese migrants crossed the southern border. Last year, that number soared to over 37,000. Part of an explosion of migrants coming here from all over the globe. Currently, most migrants are released into the U.S. to wait, often years, for asylum hearings. Critics say that encourages migrants to come, and President Biden should change course through executive action.
The system has been broken for decades.
Why not take executive action right now? Why not do more right now to address this?
What executive action are you suggesting that we take that we haven't taken that would survive court scrutiny?
Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas telling us he's working with China, which currently refuses to take back Chinese migrants who are deported from the U.S.
Well, that may be changing. We have been working with the People's Republic of China to actually receive individuals whom we have determined are not eligible to remain in the United States.
And do you expect that to change soon?
We are hopeful that it will.
Back on the border, we meet this father and son who say their journey was facilitated by a Chinese smuggler they call a snakehead.
The snakehead would contact him through WeChat and give him directions on where to go and where to stay.
How did you pay this person?
Everything was done online.
We obtained exclusive private messages from one snakehead who claims to have brought more than 100 people to the U.S. this year.
Bienvenido.
On social media, he posts these proof-of-life videos of Chinese clients traveling toward the border with help from Mexican smugglers. They serve as ads for his concierge service. Ticket price, $10,000 a head. Once they set foot on American soil, the smugglers' work is done, with many more customers ready to go. David Noriega, NBC News, Jacumba, California.
Fascinating reporting. And David joins us now in the studio. David, okay, so snakehead, this term, is that kind of like coyote?
Yeah, it's the same idea. Snakehead is just the term for the Chinese term for a people smuggler. So they're very similar to coyotes in Mexico, Central America. The difference is that they're plugged into these really global kind of interlocking smuggling networks that it range from everything from legitimate businesses like travel agencies, airlines, bus lines, to some of the most powerful criminal organizations in the world, including, for example, the Gulf Clan in Colombia, which controls that really important juncture in the migrant journey, or obviously the Mexican cartels that we're all familiar with, which control the people smuggling trade on the southern side of the U.S.-Mexico border. Chinese snakeheads, as well as smugglers from lots of other countries, India, Russia, Uzbekistan, Somalia, you name it, have plugged into those global smuggling networks to move people from their countries, specifically to the U.S.-Mexico border.
I was watching some of the videos, the proof-of-life videos, and it almost sounds like the person behind the camera has like a hospitality voice. I mean, is this all this super common knowledge in these countries? I know on TikTok I've seen advertisements on narco talk for things like this. How do you find out about all this?
Look, it's increasingly common knowledge. The extent to which it is common knowledge in the sending countries is exploding, largely thanks to digital technology. You know, everyone has a smartphone. Even the poorest migrant now has a cheap smartphone, not to mention sort of, middle-class urban people like the ones we interviewed in this story. Smugglers advertise for these services on TikTok, WeChat, WhatsApp, all sorts of social media platforms. We actually got access exclusively to a Chinese snakehead's WeChat profile where he posts these, including these, proof of life videos of Chinese migrants on the voice you're hearing is actually a Mexican smuggler whose job is to ferry that group of migrants from point A to point B. Let's say a hotel in Tapachula in southern Mexico to the airport where they then catch a flight to Tijuana. Whatever the case may be, those serve as ads, and those ads are all over social media. And that's a really critical part of why we're seeing these numbers from countries like China, India, Russia, et cetera, exploding from sometimes the hundreds to the tens of thousands in just the last couple of years. And it's not just the advertising, it's also the fact that the migrants with that smartphone in their hand can communicate with their smugglers seamlessly, can pay them seamlessly. This degree of migration from all over the world would not be possible if it weren't for that digital component of it.
And you said 10,000. Is that just to start? Is that the going rate right now?
I've heard as high as 18,000, but it varies country to country. And it also varies on how, let's say, luxurious, I don't want to use the word luxurious, but how sort of concierge the service is, right? Because if you're, migrants from like the Northern Triangle of Central America, like Honduras, El Salvador, they often just walk the whole way. They don't even have the money to hire smugglers. Someone from China gets on airplanes, they get on buses. When they're crossing the Darien Gap, often they don't have to hike through the jungle. They do it by boat, right? The more you get help along the way, the more money you pay.
Fascinating. David, incredible reporting. Thanks so much for joining us.
Got it, Gadi.
And coming up, we've been told it was going to be an early spring. Well, at least a groundhog told us that. But millions of Americans are dealing with freeze alerts this week. We've got your forecast coming up. But first, you got to see this. This video shows a group of Good Samaritans rescuing a driver from a burning car in St. Paul, Minnesota on Thursday. Now, that Honda SUV went off the road into a light pole and caught fire. That's when a group of people driving by stopped to help the man by smashing in his window and pulling him out of the car. Thankfully, he was not seriously hurt. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. A deep freeze is headed for parts of the country. We're going to have a forecast in just a second. But first, here's some of the headlines we're watching tonight. A home in Minnesota was torn down after a house fire was caused by an explosion. Now, local officials say they freed a woman trapped inside the home and that she was taken to the hospital. The cause of the fire and the explosion are still under investigation, but the fire chief says the debris field is consistent with a natural gas explosion. And officials still haven't filed charges in the deaths of two siblings who were killed by a suspected drunk driver at a birthday party in Michigan. Now, police say over the weekend, a 66-year-old woman drove into a boat club where the party was being held, killing an 8-year-old girl and her 5-year-old brother. 13 other people were hurt, including 9 people who were hospitalized with life-threatening injuries. And today, the Supreme Court agreed to consider whether the Biden administration can lawfully regulate ghost guns. They are taking up a Biden administration appeal in defense of regulations that the lower court invalidated. The regulations include things like serial numbers and mandating background checks for people who buy the guns from dealers. Arguments will take place later this year. And Volkswagen workers in Tennessee have voted to join the United Auto Workers Union, marking the union's first successful organizing drive of an automaker outside of Detroit's Big Three. Now, UAW leaders and supporters are expected to use the win as a launching point to expand its ranks and get 12 other automakers in the U.S. to join the union. And over the weekend, Barry Manilow played his 42nd show at Radio City Music Hall, breaking the record for the most lifetime concert performances at that iconic venue. During the show, Manilow was presented with a plaque commemorating the achievement by the one and only Radio City Rockettes. And May is just around the corner, but for millions of Americans in the Midwest, winter is not going anywhere anytime soon. NBC News meteorologist Bill Cairns is here to tell us all about this week's forecast.
Gadi, tonight's one of those nights where if people decided to put their gardens out early, they may regret it. It's a kind of a general rule in the northern half of the country and also the Northeast. You don't plant your gardens or any sensitive plants or vegetation before May. So if you already did it, tonight's one of those nights with clear skies, high pressure overhead. The temperature is going to bottom out overnight. Calm winds, too. And that's why we have 34 million people under frost advisories and freeze warnings. So if you do have any plants out there you care about, put blankets over them, cover them up. If you can bring them inside, try to do that, obviously. But this includes Richmond, Washington, D.C., up to Philadelphia, southern New England, all the way back through the Appalachians. Now, there's a couple spots where we know for sure we're going to go below 32 degrees tonight. That includes Harrisonburg here in a little area just across the border from New Jersey into southern New York. Those areas are under freeze warnings, and that's where stuff will definitely have ice on it and potentially die. So here's the forecast. Chilly morning forecast. 30s in some areas here outside of the big cities. in the cities themselves with the pavement, they'll be just fine. No issues like in D.C. or Philly or New York, but it's the suburbs that'll have the problems. So let's talk about the next story that we're going to talk about towards the end of this week. We had a lot of severe weather last week. We kind of had a little bit of a break this weekend. We're starting off kind of quiet this week, but that all changes Thursday into Friday. This storm comes out of Colorado, kind of classic. Moisture returns here into the middle of the country. We get all this rain and thunderstorms, especially Friday looks like to be the worst of the 2 days. And this will linger even into Saturday as a new storm moves in for Oklahoma and North Texas. So a little stormy period, especially Friday, Saturday, Oklahoma City, Dallas, and Fort Worth. So on Thursday, mostly areas of northwest Texas, western Oklahoma, central Kansas. Large hail will be in the form of late in the night. I don't think we're going to have too many tornadoes on Thursday. Friday looks to be the more dangerous day. A lot of big cities included into this, too, from Des Moines to Omaha, Kansas City, Wichita, back down to Oklahoma City, Fort Smith, into Dallas and Waco. So Friday's the day if you have travel plans in the Central Plains all the way into North Texas, you have to watch out. And Gadi, we also got in the summer outlook forecast. I know a lot of people are making vacation plans, wondering what the summer is going to look like. And this shouldn't surprise anyone. Warmer than normal, almost coast to coast. Northern New England maybe hotter than normal, also from the desert southwest up into the Rockies. And the other thing is, with an active hurricane season predicted, the East Coast potentially wetter than normal, especially if we get some of that tropical activity heading up the eastern seaboard. Looks drier than normal for the west. Of course, that makes you wonder about, warmer and drier about the chance of any fires, a long fire season as we go through the summer. But something to look forward to. A warm summer if you like it hot.
Meanwhile, a lot of people in Bismarck just shaking their head. Bill, thanks so much. Still to come, it is Earth Day, and tonight we are taking a closer look at microfibers, and almost all of us are contributing to that type of pollution every single time we do our laundry. We're going to explain later this hour, so stay tuned. Hey, welcome back. The intel chief for the IDF has resigned for what he calls the failures over the October 7th attack in Israel. But why did it take 6 months? That story is coming up. But first, let's take a quick look around the world. Tens of thousands of people have been forced to evacuate southern China after torrential rain caused flooding there. The rain has been coming down for days now, and it really started coming down over the weekend. One area got nearly a foot of rain from Friday to Sunday. North Korea is suspected to have fired short-range ballistic missiles into the ocean today. That's the word coming from South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff. He also says that the weapons flew about 185 miles before crashing into the water, suggesting the missiles could likely target places in South Korea. And Austrian police say 4 Germans were caught laying white roses at the house Hitler was born in, and that one of them even gave the Nazi stiff-arm salute as they posed for pictures. The woman says she did not mean the salute to be taken seriously, but police say they found evidence on her phone sharing Nazi-themed messages and pictures. They all face prosecution for breaking the Austrian law that bans Nazi symbols. And a lawsuit in London is alleging that the dating app Grindr shared highly sensitive personal information with advertisers, including users' HIV status in some cases. And that suit claims the U.S.-owned app breached U.K. data protection laws. Grindr says that it plans to, quote, respond vigorously to this claim, and that it has never shared user health information for, quote, commercial purposes. Meanwhile, as Israel celebrates Passover, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is feeling the pressure from all sides. His top military intel chief is resigning, and now the U.S. is expected to sanction an IDF unit over human rights abuses in the occupied West Bank. NBC News international correspondent Raf Sanchez reports.
Israel's military intelligence chief is the first senior official to resign over the failure to prevent the October 7th terror attack, but he's unlikely to be the last. We expect that other generals, other spy chiefs will also resign at the end of the war. And all of this is adding pressure on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who has not taken personal responsibility for what happened on October 7th. The Prime Minister has promised that there will be a national commission, a little bit like the 9/11 Commission in the United States, but he hasn't said when that probe will start or when it will report. And the Prime Minister is facing continuous, sustained protests by demonstrators who are calling for early elections. They say they have lost faith in this government since what happened on October 7th. And at this point, the Prime Minister does not really have much to say in the way of an answer to the Israeli public in terms of who is going to take accountability. Meanwhile, we are expecting the United States in the coming days to impose sanctions on a unit of the Israeli military. This is a battalion with a long history of far-right conscripts, a long history of alleged human rights abuses. But the incident that brought these sanctions crashing down happened back in 2022 when soldiers from this unit detained a 78-year-old Palestinian-American man. His name is Omar Assad. They handcuffed him, they gagged him, they kept him on the side of the road, and when the unit moved on, they cut his bindings, but he was unresponsive. They left him there, and he was found dead the following morning. Now, several officers from that unit were disciplined internally following that death, but no one has been prosecuted in a criminal sense. The Israeli government very strongly objecting to these incoming U.S. sanctions, with leaders from the right, from the left, from the center, all saying that they are lobbying the United States to change course. It is Passover here in Israel now. This is really a Passover like no other. It is absolute agony for the families of the hostages being held in Gaza. The tradition is to leave a chair empty at the table for the spirit Elijah. But tonight, many families are leaving a chair for their loved ones who are still being held in Gaza nearly 200 days into this war. Another major milestone missed by these hostages. Back to you.
Ralph, thank you. And it has been 6 months since Hamas's deadly attack on an Israeli music festival, and now there's a new immersive exhibition in New York that has basically recreated the festival grounds and aims to raise awareness by retelling the horrific events that happened October 7th, 2023. NBC's Chloe Malas has more.
Everywhere you turn your head to, you see the smiles, you see happy people.
Reflections of smiling faces, dancing, people living their best lives.
I was really, really excited for it. It was amazing.
The Moment Music Stood Still is an exhibit that recreates those moments in vivid detail, from the dirt on the ground to festival music echoing through this 50,000 square foot space in Lower Manhattan.
People just come up to you out of nowhere and start talking to you like your family. So that was very special to me.
A fun-loving event that took a terrifying turn when the festival was targeted by Hamas militants in a surprise attack in October. Festival producer Ophir Amar was shot in the leg while trying to escape.
While they shot at us, I was talking to my wife on the phone, and my wife was 9 months pregnant at home at that day. If I pass out, I cannot answer Leo, my wife. I cannot talk to her.
I took out my phone and I called my ex-fiance. And I said to him, Shai, we're getting attacked. We're getting attacked.
Lee Saucy, a 26-year-old American citizen, says she took refuge in a nearby bomb shelter with a small group that included her uncle Avi, who was killed in the attack.
He took the impact of the grenade right in front of me. And then they started shooting again. And for 8 hours, I hid under the bodies, and I put the jacket over my face, and I covered my ears because my ears were ringing. It was hard.
26-year-old Danielle DeVere said she hid from the gunman in an orange grove.
I had this scarf on me, which I got before the festival because I thought the color is cute. I saw orange trees in the same color, so I thought maybe use the scarf as a camouflage.
This is the biggest massacre in music history.
Record executive Scooter Braun helped bring the exhibit to the U.S.
When Americans come to this exhibit, what are you hoping that they take away?
Look, these are actual cars that terrorists destroyed. This could have been anywhere, and I think it's important that we see ourselves and others so we can have some humanity for them.
Organizers shipped salvaged items from Israel, including bullet-ridden porta potties and a lost and found of unclaimed personal effects.
This one's really tough for me. You know, growing up in a Holocaust family, there's a lot of images of just piles of shoes. And that should not happen.
While the exhibit focuses only on what happened at the music festival, Braun and organizers acknowledge the human toll affecting both sides of the conflict.
You can come and see this exhibit and be here for these music lovers and call out for the hostages and still, at the same time, have the empathy in your heart to call out for innocent people in Gaza to be protected.
What do you plan to do with your lives now?
We are the voice of all our friends and victims that cannot tell their story, and to show the world this happened to us. It's one language and it's for everybody. And of course, we'll do more festivals and we will dance again.
Chloe, thank you. Before we go, it is time for the future of education. And we are saying goodbye to binders full of worksheets on American literature and world history. And hello to drone engineering and hacking. Yes, hacking. We are going to take you inside a high-tech high school that is flipping the curriculum we all know and don't miss. You're not going to want to miss this one, so stay tuned. And now for the future of everything. Tonight, we're kicking off a series focused specifically on education. And forget everything you know about normal high school, because a school in Alabama is changing things up. We are talking STEM, cyber, even a hacking class. We got to meet the students who are redefining what it means to be a high schooler and the educators who are ditching tradition to prepare them for a future driven by constant change. In Huntsville, Alabama, a hybrid public boarding school hoping to be a blueprint for the future of education. Almost from scratch, you're building a drone that you can market out in the real world. Here, the high school morning bell is replaced by a symphony of creation.
Whether it's the glass, the open air, we want this to be a lab school. We want to be a national model. We kind of didn't want it to feel like a school. We wanted the vibe to kind of be an exciting place to come in.
What is this?
So this is our robot. They move side to side.
Oh.
It's tracking itself.
Right. You're talking literally about almost reinventing the wheel.
Absolutely.
You're cutting metal with water in your shop class in high school. Yes, sir. Come on, are you going to show me how to use one of those?
Oh, nice.
Okay, that was harder than it looked, but this school is designed around all things STEM and all things cyber. And yeah, that means they're even teaching high schoolers the dark arts of hacking and defending. You've got this room's network up, yes, and you're able to see everything that's connected, all the different data that's being shared across this network. Yes. Hypothetically, hack the network or protect the network.
Yes.
And you're doing that all in code in the classroom.
No other school that I know of has anything like this.
As for the more traditional core subjects like history and language arts, same familiar titles, but with a twist.
We're all so interested in the STEM field, the engineering, the cyber, and that really drives our artistic endeavors as well as our history, our literature.
You start to realize that engineering kind of ties in with so many subjects.
Social engineering, psychology. I mean, those are, everything is really down to how things work. When it comes to grades, there are no A's, no F's.
We want grades to reflect what students learn. You know, what do they know? We kind of got that from industry. It's like, hey, you got to write a proposal that works for this. If you're not there yet, go back and fix it.
And getting them ready for the AI-infused workplace of tomorrow means every student must finish all their core high school learning in 3 years. And when they become seniors, they leave the school every day to work a real-world job in either a government agency, with an aerospace contractor, or private industry. What do you do?
So I was working under a grant with the DoD called the Viceroy Grant, and through a local college.
The Department of Defense?
Yes, sir.
And you're in high school?
Yes, sir.
Who are your mentors that you meet with?
Mine works at Deloitte, and he's been very helpful.
It's those kinds of partnerships and funding that make this school, where about half the students live on campus, tuition-free. How would you respond to somebody who might see some of these classrooms, see a private company name outside of the classroom, and be a little bit put off by that?
We couldn't have this school today if we didn't have our private partnerships, and we got incredible partners.
As for that high school dorm life, how many live on campus? You live on campus, live on campus? This is dorm life.
This is where we all live.
This looks like college. Kira Richardson is starting at Harvard in the fall. Is it scary first moving to your high school?
Oh, absolutely. Being 14 and moving out of my home.
If I may.
Yeah.
What? You have a rocket? You have a rocket under your bed?
I do.
What? Like so many students we met, she gets excited about the day she'll finally get to lunch from a school where preparation for the future means learning to fly high above the rest.
The answer is, how do you engage these students into a learning environment and give them ownership of that?
You're not just building these drones, you're programming them as well?
Yes, sir.
In the fields I'm going to go into, I'm going to be learning all the time.
Could you imagine going to a traditional high school after this?
No, I could not.
3D printed carbon fiber rockets under a high school bed. Incredible stuff. Go Sentinels. And finally, on this Earth Day, we are talking about laundry, laundry, and how it could end up hurting some of our bodies and the environment. And it all comes down to these things called microplastics. Basically, when you wash your clothes, these tiny little pieces get into our water systems, which could lead to some serious health issues. And now researchers at Columbia University are looking for a new way to flush out those fibers. NBC correspondent Aaron McLaughlin has more.
What if I told you that scientists have found this in almost every part of your body?
What are called microplastics.
Microplastics.
Dangerous microplastics.
Those are microplastics, minuscule particles found in the gut, the blood, and the brain. Scientists say they clot arteries, linking them to heart disease and hormone disruption. But what exactly are microplastics? Imagine a plastic bottle thrown into the ocean. As it's tossed around by the waves, smashing into rocks, it breaks up into smaller and smaller pieces. The pieces you can see with the naked eye are microplastics. Those too small to see are nanoplastics.
The whole planet is penetrated by microplastics. It's in deepest points of the ocean. It's high on the mountains. You inhale it, you drink it, you eat it. It's everywhere.
All because humans generate an estimated 380 million tons of plastic waste every year. And even if you think you've cut out single-use plastics from your life, scientists say you're probably still contributing because of one everyday task: laundry. Each time you wash clothes made of plastic fibers like polyester or spandex, tiny pieces shed into the water system. Now scientists and engineers at Columbia University are tackling this source of pollution. According to one of the researchers, 1/3 of all microplastics pollution in the world's oceans can be traced back to laundry.
That's actually global in the ocean, but in the urban centers, they can reach to 80%.
80%?
Yes.
So Dr. Yan and his team are developing a device that can attach to a washer and filter out the plastics.
This is a new technology that's actually using these advanced filtrations to remove majority of the nanoplastic and microfibers and microplastics from your waste.
Dr. Yan's team showed us what the washer spits out when it does your laundry. Those bits floating around are plastic fibers from a polyester blanket. When they run it through the filters, the water is cleaned and the plastic fibers are left behind. And this would end up in the water?
This will end up in the water.
If not for your filter.
Exactly.
This is why laundry is such a huge problem.
Exactly, yeah.
But more worrying than those visible orange fibers are the ones that you can only see with a highly advanced microscope. That mass of what looks like gray pasta, those are tiny microplastics, some of them hundreds of times thinner than human hair, others even smaller.
This is about 8 times smaller than a blood cell. This is at 500 nanometers.
That means if ingested, these fibers and particles can cross the blood-brain barrier or even get into the placenta of a pregnant woman. We have no idea what they do exactly, but it can't be good?
It can't be good. Yeah. I mean, we should just use common sense to think that we shouldn't be ingesting these types of particles.
The filter is still in its early stages, but the team hopes it could be on the market as soon as 2 years. A new solution to a health hazard we're just beginning to understand. Aaron McLaughlin, NBC News.
Aaron, thank you. And that does it for us tonight. I'm Gadi Schwartz. We'll see you tomorrow. But until then, stay tuned now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.